Where would anglers make the most money in the championships? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. If you're new, my name is Steve Chapman. Ever wonder where an angler would make the most money in the championships, a free event? Now, I'm going to be brutally honest. When I first started thinking or started doing the process of how I do a video, I wanted to compare the Elites and the Classic versus the Red Crest versus the NPFL Championship. If we're going to put the NPFL at the pedestal of the Elites and the BPT, we have to put their championship at that same level. It's great that they can pay $100,000 out to these tournament winners during the regular events, but where would you make more money in a free event, in a championship? And that's when things got really confusing and muddled. The Classic is the greatest event of all of it. The Red Crest is really amazing too. The NPFL Championship, I'm not sure many average fans could tell you who's won the championship over the 5 years unless you are with the NPFL or you're a pro angler that fishes the NPFL. Versus, we know that Dustin Cannell's won 3 events. 3 times he's won the Red Crest. We know that Easton Fothergill is a Classic Championship. So we can't compare apples to oranges in this case. And when you look at the payouts alone, and you have the Bassmaster Classic paid out $850,000 versus the Red Crest, which paid out $775,000 versus the NPFL, which paid out $251,000. It's really hard to compare them. And right now the NPFL is getting a lot of recognition that it deserves. Taking the stance of prohibiting forward-facing sonar was, as I've said, a genius move. It's brought an older and a different generation of traditional anglers to their tournament field. Will they get younger anglers? Probably not. But we've seen many anglers that don't requalify, some anglers that don't accept their invitation to go to the BPT, and a ton of elite anglers join the NPFL to make extra money, to fish against, no offense, sometimes a lesser quality of angler than what the Elites and the BPT put out. Simply on the case that you don't have to qualify for the NPFL. You turn in an application. If you're a bigger name, they'll probably accept you. But they do the background check and pick the anglers who participate in their tournament. Versus the Elites and the BPT, where you have to go through a juggernaut of fishing tournaments and sometime purgatory in the opens to attempt to qualify. And only 10 people qualify for the Elites every year. 5 people qualify for the BPT. And that's not taking a shot at any angler on NPFL. That's the honest goodness truth. Zach Burge said it 2 years ago. It's the truth. There's very few anglers that can go through that maze to qualify for the BPT or the Elites. So that made me rethink how I wanted to do this video. And then the next thing I thought would be, let's compare the 2025 NPFL Championship payouts versus the Tackle Warehouse Invitational Tournament. Kind of both in that same realm. There's still a lot of anglers on both sides. These are anglers they're full-time professional fishermen. They're full-time professional anglers. They want to compete at that highest level. And there are going to be a lot of people that say they want to go to this place because it's more fun, or because of 5 fish, or because of forward-facing sonar. That is awesome. But you also have to remember, those anglers, this is their job. This is their job to make money. It isn't their job to pay an entry fee and then just giving it to the guys that are at the top. And when we look at entry fees, you have $5,500 for the Pro Circuit, Invitationals in 2025, Pro Circuit in 2026, versus the NPFL, which is $5,200. So it is somewhat comparable. Now the NPFL takes 42 anglers to their championship. The Tackle Warehouse Invitational took 50. But what's the biggest difference in their payouts? And winning a championship is very important. Getting paid properly is also very important. Remember, both events are free to those who qualify. Now, the NPFL put out $100,000 for first, $15,000 for second, $12,000 for third, $10,500 for fourth, $10,000 for fifth. 6th through 15th made $5,000. 16th through 20th made $3,500. 21st through 25th made $2,500. And then 26th through 41st made $1,500. The Tackle Warehouse Invitationals in 2025 paid out $100,000 for first place. If you were in a Phoenix boat, you got an additional $35,000. They paid out $50,000 for second, $26,000 for third, $20,000 for fourth, $15,000 for fifth, $14,000, $13,000, $13,000, $11,750 for ninth, $10,000 for 10th. 11th through 20th were paid $6,000. 21 through 30 made $5,500. 31 through 50 made $5,000 for $522,000 in payouts versus the NPFL for a total payout of $251,500. 522 to 252. That's a $170,000 difference. And when you look at how much it costs an angler to go up, to buy lodgings, to buy gas, to buy food, to buy miscellaneous stuff, and you take that in, and you just look at an average angler, probably expenses are $2,000 to $2,500 per tournament, sometimes even more. If you're going from Florida or you're going from Texas, wherever you are, you might have more. But if we just use an average of $2,500 per angler, that means anglers that fished the NPFL Championship and qualified that finished 21st through 42nd broke even. If you finished 26th through 42nd, you were in the hole $1,000 at minimum. Now, that sucks. Plain and simple. I don't even know why I'm even talking about it. Why? Now, I'm sure they're going to make some adjustments to their payouts for the championship, but that alone is something that I think goes unrecognized, because the truth of the matter is I spent 5 weeks to try to get the payouts for NPFL. 5 weeks. Now, I wasn't totally every day, but I did every several days. I shot emails out. I asked. They don't feel like they need to share their payouts to the fans, to the media. They don't think we, us, the fans, deserve to know. I can tell you that anglers, they might not like to hear this, didn't know how much they were getting paid. They left the tournament not knowing what they paid because they put it on their private Facebook page. And when an angler gets home and gets included in a free event, and he makes $1,500 and he's out $1,200, something is wrong. And there is an influx of new people going to the NPFL, and that is wonderful. They deserve it. What they've done in 2025 is amazing. But they really need to look at their payouts worse than anything, because if they want to be included in that sentence, in that breath as one of the best, the anglers need to be paid for it. And that's where NPFL, that's one of the places NPFL is missing the mark. And there's several other things. I would go into the statement, but I'm not going to. To each his own. Did you realize the payouts were that bad for the NPFL Championship? And do you think it's legit to compare the NPFL Championship to the Tackle Warehouse Invitational Championship for 2025? Next year's pro circuit, payouts are even better. Would you go to a tournament that's free if it cost you $1,200? You have the opportunity to make $100,000. But there were 17 anglers that went home in the red. What do you think? Comment below and tell me what you think. Thanks to all new subscribers and members and everyone who's interactive on the channel. I really do appreciate it. It's a humbling experience. This one's probably pretty long. I didn't mean to make it that long, so hopefully it edits down a little bit. But thank you to everyone. Thank you to all the people that are interactive and check in. And I'd love to say that things are better. It's just a rough time. It stinks. But thank you for being part of the team. Thank you for being part of the family. Really, seriously. Thank you for being part of the family. But if you're not a subscriber, you should be. It's quick, easy, and it's free. All you gotta do is hit that button, subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell so you know when the next video drops. Remember, take a kid fishing, tight lines, cheers, and get your fish on.